Hi, this is Jessica Mays, Infusionsoft certified consultant and the owner of Mays Consulting Group. I wanted to make a video today to show you exactly how to build in Infusionsoft an email that has a link in it that changes over time. So the email goes out and initially has, let's say, a link to Facebook in it. And after a week, you want it to be a link to Twitter. That's really a poor example. This is really designed particularly because this is a fair amount of work that you're going to put into the implementation here. So you don't just want to willy-nilly go switching links. You want to do it strategically. So when you have a time-sensitive offer, when you have something that they can only register until, say, Friday or the end of the month or whatever it might be, after that period of time, you can switch out the link so that if somebody goes and clicks after the fact, they can't get there anymore and do that thing that isn't available anymore. So that would be the use case, okay? So I'm logged into Infusionsoft. The first thing I want to do is I need to figure out where the URL will live inside of the contact record, because we're not going to actually just take the URL and put it in the email, which is what we do 99% of the time when we send an email. We're going to have the URL living in a contact field, and it can live in any of the contact fields, but I'm going to go ahead and create a custom field just to house this particular information. So I just went to, in case this is new to you, admin settings, and then we've got custom fields. It is a contact field. I'm going to create one from scratch. You can create up to 100 custom fields in the contact section of your application, so be mindful of how many that you have. I'm going to go ahead and add this now. I'm going to make it a text field, so I'm going to leave this drop down at text because there are letters, there are symbols, and there's sometimes numbers in URLs, so a text will take everything. So we're going to call this changing link field. You call it whatever you want, but I recommend you keep it as a text field. I kind of said that slowly because there wouldn't be any harm in making it there is a website field as well. And I actually am having deja vu. I ran into a scenario once where the link was too long to work as a text field. We had to change it to a website field, but that's kind of one of those things that is probably not going to happen. But know that you can make this a text field or a website field. I'm going to make it text. All right, saving the field. And now I'm ready to go ahead and build the strategy. I like to build in Campaign Builder, so that's where we're going to head. I already started this. I didn't do much, but there is already a campaign called Changing Link Demo. Go ahead and open that up. And I have pulled out a sequence. So this is going to be email, timer, action set, and that's it. So I like to label these. Comes in handy down the road if you're ever cloning the sequence and so forth. So I always like to label what's going on here. It also saves yourself and your team members time. If they just come in and they don't have to click in too much, they can just kind of see what's going on and then laser into where they need to go to do something. So just like I've labeled, we're going to do a few things. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set the field value. And we need to do that before the email goes out because we need, when somebody clicks on that link, there has to be info sitting in that field. So set the field value. And just in case you're wondering, that is in the process section over here. Set field value, okay? We created a field for this. We're calling it Changing Link Field. And this is where we need to literally put in the URL where we want to send this person. So I'm going to, just for demo purposes, I'm just going to use my business website. And the reason I'm bringing it up is so that I'm copy pasting it all incorrectly. See how it added on the HTTP : / and all that jazz. So this is good, draft to ready. And then the email would be ready to go. And then there would be a delay because there's a period of time that is in fact the website I want people to go to. Actually, you can use whatever delay timer you want, but it makes sense in a time-sensitive offer scenario that there's typically a deadline. So I would say maybe until the end of the month. And then I would change it. So I would do another set field value. be that same field. And notice we've got a little check mark here, overwrite existing value. So when it goes to do this on the 31st at 8 in the morning, it will overwrite Jessica Mays and it will go to, let's just do Facebook. Because, you know, I wouldn't go through all this work to send people to my website and then send people to Facebook, but you get the picture. You can do whatever data you want here. Draft ready. Voila. Okay, so here's the last thing we need to do. We need to get that URL in place. Now this is the part that, like everything we've done so far is pretty easy. The part where it gets a little tricky, it's not hard, but it's tricky. And once you've done it a couple of times, then you're good to go. But anyways, is hyperlinking to the merge field rather than hyperlinking to www. Okay. So here's the little rule of thumb. Just bring your cursor in, go to the merge fields, and find that field. Okay, so for me it's in the custom, and it's right here. Okay, that way, because these links, I mean, this is programming, so these links are finicky. I mean, that C has to be capitalized, and so does that C, and so does that L, and so does that F, and these have to be wavy lines, not dashes, and there's a dot there. Not sure if you noticed that. So my point is, this has to be exact or it won't work. So I go ahead and I actually plop the merge field in. I have, you know, the software plop it in, and then I copy it, and then I get rid of it. Okay, so now, if you're interested, please click here to register. Okay, so now we go up to hyperlink and we paste in that merge field. Okay, so I know that feels really, really weird because we are trained, we have a habit of putting in a www dot da 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 da. And in fact you are, because remember we're setting the field to be the link and then we're changing it to a different link. But anyways, it's reading what's in that field and there is in fact a web address there. Okay, boom. Alright, so I just illustrated how to hyperlink words. Let's also, we can do it with an image too. So let's just insert an image. For demo purposes, it doesn't really matter what image we put in. We'll put in this great big picture of me. Shrink it down. It's a little much, right? So, all right, so same exact thing. Hyperlinking it. Ta-da. Okay. So then you'd want to make sure your email's ready, and you'd want to go back to sequence and draft ready. And back to campaign, and that is really all you have to do for what we just created right here. You certainly could add things like a goal so that let's pretend we are sending the email 2 or 3 times, particularly if it's an offer. You're not just going to send one email and be done with it. You're going to remind people a few times, but you also don't want to remind them if they do what you want them to do. So it would be very common in this strategy to put a goal out here to illustrate them having done what you want them to do. So perhaps it's a purchase, perhaps it's filling out a web form, whatever it might be. But you then could then turn off the series of emails and then send them new stuff over here. Okay? But the purpose of today's video is to show you how to make that changing link inside of emails. And so all of that lives in here. So let's just review it one more time as we're getting ready to wrap up. Keys here is you have to set the value. You have to set it at the beginning, and then you have to set it when it's supposed to change. Because there always has to be information in that field, because when the recipient of the email clicks on the link, they are, Infusionsoft is simply going to display what's ever in that field. So if there's nothing in the field, it can't display anything. And if you don't have this timer and this change take place, it won't change to something else. So every little piece here is necessary. But if you go ahead and you implement this the way I've illustrated it, you will have a changing link scenario, which is pretty slick because, as you know, or you will eventually discover, that you'll send an email out and there will be something about the email that you sure wish you could pull that email back. And you can't. Once an email goes, you can't make changes to a typo or anything like that. But this is that one exception where the email is sitting in everybody's inboxes all over the globe, but you're able to change the information that comes up when they click that particular link because you've got this programming in place in that email.